In continuation with our discussion, let's proceed to the flipped classroom. But before that, let's define what is it. Flipped classroom is a learning strategy that reverses a traditional learning environment by delivering instructional content outside of the classroom. It moves activities like projects, assignments, homeworks into the class. It is a type of blended learning where students are introduced to the content at home and practice working through it at school. Flipping classroom is involved easy to use readily accessible technology to the free class time for the lecture. There are four pillars in a flipped classroom, which is the flexible environment, learning content, intentional content, and professional educator. Each of the flipped classroom represent the four pillars, and let's look at them, the meaning of it. The first pillar is the flexible environment. In flipped classroom, teachers need to create flexible learning environment by providing opportunities for the students to choose when and where they want to learn. Flexible learning environment, one of the hallmarks of flipped learning classroom. It provides fluid timelines for students' work and comprehension. Teachers should adjust to the pace of the students in their class. The pillar is the learning content, and flipped model, class time is shifting to discuss more in depth about each topic. Moreover, flipped classroom changes the traditional learning culture into the learner-centered class. As a result, students are actively involved in acknowledgement instruction. In learning content, the teachers foster a rich environment that allows students to delve further into topics and provides them with opportunities for self-reflection and hands-on with the activities so that they will learn from the activities of what the teachers had. Third pillars is the intentional content. Flipped learning requires intentional content. Means, in flipped model, the teachers determine what they need to teach and what material students should handle on their own. Her teacher used intentional content to maximize class time in order to adopt learner-centered, actively oriented class. Also, in intentional content, the teachers decide ahead of time what direct instruction to pair with in-class activities. Students should feel challenged but able to understand material on their own, a balance which can take time for the teacher to master. The educator is monitoring the students during lessons in offering feedback ensures no gap in student. Professional educator, the teachers must observe their children if they are attentive with their class so that the students will learn it easily in their lesson. Educator is very important during the class activities. It is because they are the one who handle their class. The advantage of the flipped classroom. The first is more one-to-one time with the teacher or the lecturer. Next is more group work for the students. Self-paced learning. Improved engagement for the students. Deeper understanding for the subject. Work accessibility. May improve test performance for the students. It also had a disadvantage for the flipped classroom. First is relies on student preparation. Next is increased screen time and effort for the teacher. May not cover everything required for a test. And that was the advantage and disadvantage for the flipped classroom. Here are some benefits of a flipped classroom to the students and to the teacher. For the students learn at verifying speeds. Students are provided opportunities for review. Lessons front-load students for classroom activities. Materials are ready and prepared for students who are absent or sick. Parents can view lesson and better assist students. Students do not struggle with completing homework because they forgot how. Students take ownership of their learning. Students are actively working with their peers. For the teachers, teachers focus on being the guide on the side, not the sage on the stage. Teachers spend more time supporting students with practice. Teachers are involved with students' learning rather than lecture. Teachers spend less time on classroom management of students' behaviors. Teachers are able to provide one-on-one and small group assistance. Teachers are not spending extra hours tutoring and explaining to students who do not understand the class lessons. Teachers collaborate with peers in creating materials. Teachers cannot connect with students. The difference between traditional and flipped classroom. Before class, in traditional classroom, there is no difference between the flipped classroom. But in flipped classroom, before class, students do reading or watch lecture prior to class. And during class, traditional classroom, students watch lecture given professor. And flipped classroom, range of activities, discussion, or quizzes led by professor but centered in students to consolidated understanding. After class, in traditional classroom, students consolidate understanding, while in flipped classroom, students rather further consolidate understanding and prepare for next class. And that was the flipped classroom all about.